It's the sick show. It's the sick show.
It's the sick show.
Oh man. Well, let's get it going. I was thinking the other day about something. I was thinking about what we consume. I was thinking about consumption. No, not the Doc Holliday disease. That's tuberculosis. That's not a joking matter. The act of consuming. What we take in, what we eat, drink, listen to, what we view, who we have around us, the influences we have. I've really been focused on what I've been listening to lately. I should probably spend more time thinking about what I'm eating. Way too much Diet Mountain Dew, people. I know. Listen, Jennifer is a nurse, and she continues to remind me. But anyway, let's talk about consumption. Let's talk about what we're taking in, what we're thinking about, what we're viewing, like how we're doing it. Let's do this, people. So, as I sit here, I've flipped through my LinkedIn account. Anybody else use a LinkedIn account? I think it's only for, um, I don't know, who uses their LinkedIn account. I try and look at it more than I have been, and I made a commitment to it a couple years ago. But I probably should spend more time on there. It's a lot more positive than any of the other social media that I'm looking into. Twitter's still pretty good. I mean, my feed is, and I really don't understand Instagram, folks. I still don't really get it, and that's probably why you're like, he posted something about his podcast. Well, yeah, that's about it. I was trying to post stuff about Bob Ross at one time. I was trying to create like a Bob Ross Instagram account, called, like Happy Little Trees or something, and a little Alpine White. I just couldn't keep up with it, man. It's a lot of work, but I'm just thinking about it as I flip through my LinkedIn account, and Sean Jenkinson posted a meme, and it said, "Train your mind to see the good in everything positive." I'm sorry, I'm gonna start that over. Train your mind to see the good in everything. Positivity is a choice. Oh man, it so is. Interestingly enough, I'd said something like that to my daughter a while back. She does a great job. Addison does a wonderful job of really keeping positive and staying motivated, and I'm really proud of her on that. And Jocelyn does too. But Addison's a lot more visible with it. She like sews it into her clothes and into a hat, and she's got some cool little things she does. But she was looking at a job that I'm sure would have been a lot of fun, and it was really interesting, but it didn't align with where she is, and ultimately that's not my choice. So, but as a dad, as her mentor, as her guide, I thought it's necessary to talk to her about this step she's taking to ensure she's thought about it thoroughly. And so we talked on the phone for a little bit, and at the end of our conversation, I said, I think it's high time that you took the quotes that you sew into your hats and you practice them. It's time for that. And we got off the phone, and she ultimately turned that position down, and is still, seeking some stuff out, trying to figure it out. But it was all about valuing herself, but I think when my previous podcast, we talked about authenticity and being true to yourself, being authentic, being finding that self actualization, you know, being the best to you. We have to live it. We have to do the work. Man, and the work is. I enjoy the work, folks. I really do. I might be a little addicted to the work. I'll be honest. I set goals. I put them out there, and once those goals are achieved, it's like, man, I so enjoyed the whole process. Sometimes the goal, maybe I didn't set it high enough, right? And so it's time for a new goal, and we go after it. But today we're going to talk about how we what are we feeding ourselves. And I told you all about weight loss and stuff like that. For me, it was about what was going in, not only to my body, but my mental state as well was so important in that process. And it was this whole thing. You got to train your mind to see the good in everything. Positivity is a choice. It was choice after choice after choice after choice after choice to do that, for me to quit smoking. It was a choice after choice. It is repetitive, folks, and that happiness of your life depends on the quality of those thoughts. The timing of it is everything, I'm sure. I'm like, what's going on? What is going on in your life at the time is clearly important, but that message, seek that positivity to help you overcome those things that are happening. We're often presented with what we need when we need it. Isn't that interesting? You get in the car and you hear that song. It's like when something terrible has happened, you hear a song that is like, oh man, it's so heartfelt. You start crying. Well, at least I do. I'm a big crybaby, but I'll start crying. I'll start thinking about, man, how did the radio know? Jennifer and I like laugh about how the radio know. How'd they know? The radio wasn't listening in. It's Facebook that's listening in, right? It's our phones that are listening to everything we do. How did the radio know? Even when we were kids, it always just seems like those things, the timing of it is everything, where, just things hit us when we need them, for the most part. I know they don't always do, but, are we prepared to take it in though? Are you ready to listen? So when you hear that, message, it might be a sad moment, and you get in the car and you hear, something sad on the radio, and you're like, oh man, and it hits you and you cry it out a little bit. You get to reflect on some things, and, that timing, be prepared to take it in. The old saying, junk in, junk out. It's true. One of my favorites, gosh, man, one of my favorites is pigs don't know pigs stink. Pigs don't know pigs stink, and they don't. Um, we have to be honest with ourselves, and the people around us need to be honest as well. Are we letting junk into our heads? Are we allowing junk on our social media feeds? Are we allowing junk when we're watching YouTube, when we're flipping through the reels, when we're flipping through TikToks? Are you just watching junk? Because the algorithms are going to demand more junk to be put in front of you. My feeds, I see a lot of motivational stuff. There's a lot of, Tim Robbins and Eric Thomas, and now I'm seeing a lot of Rogan and some other things as I continue this process, and seeking out information about putting out a podcast and being successful with it. What's it take? Blah blah blah. But I see more things like that. But some of it's junk. Some of it is high quality H2O, as the water boy would say. And man, we need that high quality stuff in front of us. We need to be prepared to take it in. And that old saying of junk in, junk out, it's so true in so many ways. So think about what you're listening to. And I try to be a positive force here, folks. I want this to be something that will help you. It's certainly helping me. And I would guess there's some universality. Universality, is that a real word? I'm sure some of my language arts teachers are going to be universality. I'll come up with plenty of other George Bushisms as we go along with this, folks. So you laugh it up right now. Send me a message. Let me know your favorite chickism that comes out of my mouth. But who are you listening to? Are they a positive force that is giving you energy? Or are there negative forces sucking the will to forge ahead out of you? If you're sitting on the couch eating Doritos, and I'm guilty of it, I'm like, only reason I can come up with this stuff because it's real. But if you're sitting on the couch eating Doritos and just watching people, God, man, it's so revealing. Watching kids try and do BMX jumps and, end up losing a rim and falling on their face, well, there you are. But you're not. You're here. And that is definitely a step in the right direction. And listen, I've told you before, I don't sit around and do a whole lot of research, but research has shown there are, and this is coming from Chris Voss. So I'm a Chris Voss fan. He's someone who is a former FBI negotiator. He's the leader of the Black Swan Group now. They're a company that's committed to helping others with like negotiations, influence, stuff like that. But so Chris Voss reports that, or says that that research has shown there are 31% more. We are 31% more productive in a positive frame of mind. And Lang Chen, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with that. Lang Chen, that's very easy to switch those. A researcher at Stanford found that a positive attitude towards a subject had a very similar, if not equal, if not equal effect on test outcomes as IQ. So what they're saying is you can have a great IQ, you could have an incredible IQ, but if you think negatively towards something, it's going to hurt your test scores on whatever that is, your knowledge or your outcomes for it. But if you have a positive attitude towards it, you are 31% smarter, and that attitude will have a similar, if not equal, effect as test out. Teachers, are you listening to that? Parents, are you listening to that? If there is a positivity towards the parents, teachers, positivity towards something, you're going to have a greater outcome. You're going to have a greater impact on a life of a young person and your own. I mean, for instance, someone yells at you, your reaction is typically negative. Your fight, freeze, or flight reflex kicks in. If one of the three occur, you lock in on that fear. So, like, let's look at it this way: a negative emotion or thought trains your brain to shut down possibilities. All right, so something negative happens, your brain shuts it down and focuses in on that fear, that negative component, to focus on one action or reaction. For instance, someone yelling at you. Someone yells at you, like my dad yelled at me. I had a negative reaction, and it was not good. I had one way out, and that was just to shut my mouth. And he would lecture me. Maybe that's why I'm doing this. I'm lecturing all of you. Interesting. But I would just kind of freeze in that moment. I'd lock in. I knew how to shut my mouth, and that self-preservation kicked in. Man, that's really insightful. I just kind of connected that. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. Man, that was a cool, tall glass of water right there. Just so, when you experience joy, love, or contentment, your brain explores opportunities. Think about that. Just take a moment and think about when you see something you really are excited about. Like, I'm looking right now, I got this really cool chair. I've had this attraction to leather lounge chairs, leather club chairs. And I knew what I wanted in my podcast studio. I knew what I wanted in my man cave, I guess. I'm looking at it now. And so when I thought about those chairs, I think about the possibilities. Ooh, if I had one that was on a swivel, oh, that'd be so cool. Then you wouldn't be kind of locked into the positioning of it. And you could have conversation. And if you're a fidgeter, you can fidget around a little bit, right? I'd think of the possibilities. Whereas if I just hated them, it's like, no, that won't work. It won't work in my room. I don't like it. It's not going in there. It doesn't matter if it's a swivel or not. I just don't like it. You see what I'm saying? So, like, think about in your life, what are those negative things that you come that come into play? You lock out possibilities. You're only looking for, like, if I hated leather chairs, it wouldn't matter if it was swivel, if it was the right style, had good, feng shui, whatever. It doesn't matter if I don't like it. It's a negative reaction towards it. It's not going in my room, so it doesn't matter. But if I like the look of the chair, ooh, that could go right there in the corner. Oh man, just kind of hang out, sit in it. It's really cool. It's nice. All those possibilities start happening, right? Negative things shut down. So think about that. Let's try something. So a stranger jumps out from a dark alley, dangerous object, and I say dangerous object because it was on my discipline grid at my previous schools. You'd see discipline does a kid have, what do they have? And many things could be a dangerous object, but, a ruler with a sharp end on it that's been broken, that's not a knife. It's not a shank. It's a dangerous object. And that's very different than if they brought a knife to school, right? Or, something. But so anyway, tangent. So somebody jumps out in that dark alley with a dangerous object in hand. What are you going to do? Are you going to are you going to fight, flight, or freeze? Well, you're going to focus on the danger, and self-preservation kicks in, and your brain limits the possibilities due to survival. It has been passed down to us for thousands of years, and your brain instantly goes to, how do I live through this? It doesn't think about, man, maybe this is my chance to be on in the Beat It video with Michael Jackson, right? Or Who's Bad, bad video. It's probably not, but your brain's not going to give you that option. Well, it might now because I've implanted it. Somebody jumps out at you in a dark alley. Who knows what's happening? They got something in their hand. You can't tell what it is. Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm running. I don't need to prove to anybody anything other than I can live and we'll go get breakfast tomorrow morning. That's what I'm trying to prove, that I can get out of that scenario and we're going to go get breakfast, right? I don't need to go, hey man, I'm not doing that. And it might not be a man. It might be, it could be a woman. It could be someone who's non-binary. I'm not getting into all that, but what are you going to do? Well, now a loved one comes to you with a smile and a gift card in hand. What are you going to do? Hello. I'm going to smile back, hug, thank them, imagine the possibilities. Where are we going out to eat with that gift card? Where am I going shopping? Am I going to, am I going to hit the Walmarts and get something real fancy? Or where am I going? What am I doing? Am I going to the Roadhouse? What's happening? Am I going to stop by, someplace else? Ooh, gosh, man, your brain begins to function very freely. That positive experience, it's opened the door to thinking, to your imagination. Lady named Barbara Fredrickson. She refers to this as the broaden and build theory because those positive emotions broaden your sense of possibilities and they open your mind, which in turn allows you to build new skills and resources that can provide value in other areas of your life. Gift card, hello, smile. I'm smiling back because of a reflective reflex we have. It happens all through different animals too, right? Watch chimps, they'll do it. But when you smile at somebody, watch what happens. Most likely you're getting a smile back. And I can think of very few times in my life it didn't happen. But somebody brings me a gift card, I'm excited. I'm thinking about what are the possibilities. This is valuable to me. This is something that is good. This is a positive experience. So my imagination goes bananas. But if that person jumps out in the alley and they look scary, buddy, I'm not thinking about, ooh, maybe this person just wants, they got their steak knife ready and they want to go to Roadhouse. Oh, I bet that's really not a knife. That's probably just a gift card shaped, or like an envelope shaped like a knife with a gift card in it, and that's gonna be free. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna go buy a new set of knives. It's not happening. You're getting the heck out of the alley and you're moving on. You're going to get breakfast in the morning, and that's what I'm trying to do. My brain shuts down and is not thinking about all those other opportunities. So just think about that positivity and how important that is. 31% 31%. I'm going to go find this quote again. So, 31% more productive in a positive frame of mind. You go to work, and the first thing that happens to you when you go to work is your boss gives you some negative feedback. Hey, Jimmy, yesterday, sorry to all the Jimmys out there. Jimmy, yesterday, your work sucked. Today, you got to pick it up. Your brain's going to shut down a little bit. Now, granted, I get it. I'm one of those guys. Okay, oh, my work sucked yesterday. It's going to go one of two ways. I'm going to totally rock it today, and I'll make up for all that sucking I did yesterday. Or, oh, you think yesterday sucked? Wait till you see today. I'm going to give him something really to complain about because I thought I did pretty good yesterday, right? There's only a couple possibilities there. Or I just, hey, sorry, Fred, I'm out. I don't know why Fred came out because that's my Uncle Fred. I love my Uncle Fred. He's always been awesome to me. Anyway, so Barbara Fredrickson, she tells us about this, this broaden and build because of the positive emotions, opening up possibilities. That negative experience, well, that becomes irrelevant. Your mind's not thinking of the future. The danger's immediate. That negative experience is right in front of you. You need a solution now in order to live. If it's the late night. What are you doing late night in an alley anyway? I don't know. Like, it worries me. I'm in a mood today, people. However, this response could prove, fruitful if it's an experience that you will encounter again. So think about fighters, right? Fighters get in the ring, they go start boxing by punching them right in the nose. Like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth. Somebody pops in there, hits you in the mouth. Well, unless you've experienced that before, you don't know what is going to happen next, most likely, right? Like, I'm going to take Mike Tyson's expert advice on that. He's been involved in that situation many, many, many more times than I have. So, just thinking about, if you are someone that encounters that, if you are, someone in armed combat, if you're somebody that's, involved in that, in the services, God bless you. Thank you so much. If you're in the service, you need to encounter that because you're going to encounter some negative experiences, and you need to react in a way that is, going to be fruitful not only for you but for your team as well, and for our country. So, just thinking, my teaching background takes me to the student who acts out when a lesson gets tough. They act out because it's a negative experience. They've experienced this before. They've had a bad grade or they didn't understand. And they're like, all my other peers are doing it great, but I can't figure it out. So what are they going to do? All my people in the back, you're going to act out. You're going to get out of that situation. More than likely, you're going to act out in some way because this has been a negative experience, and the stress of the learning is overwhelming. The teacher may have had them removed from the class, and this, they have formed, a fight or flight response to the negative experience, and now they can just replicate that over and over and over and over for every teacher, for that matter, until they hopefully find that teacher who is, and they will. I truly believe there's very few teachers I've encountered that provide a negative environment. Very, very, very few. It's been minimal in my experience as a student, as well as a teacher and as an administrator. Very few times I've seen or witnessed a negative classroom, but it happens. And who knows, what Timmy was going through that morning. It could have been something bad that, he's not thinking about it, and then a negative experience happens in the past. He's got in trouble, got out of the classroom, and get out of the situation, and hopefully, get some redirection, get some reflective time to get it back together and be successful the rest of the day. But anyway, I can get on a whole nother soapbox about that. But something begins to form in that at a very young age of how to get out of a situation that you're not comfortable in. Well, what if there was a positive response or a reinforcement? Thinking about that quote from earlier, that 31%. Thinking about, our new friend Barbara Fredrickson, the broaden and build. And that positive emotion going to open up your sense of possibilities, open up your mind. What if Timmy now doesn't understand it? He gets frustrated, acts out. Teacher says, "Hey, what's going on, Timmy? What's going on with you, man? You all right?" All of a sudden, Timmy is like, "What just happened? That wasn't a negative response from my teacher. I'm not getting kicked out. She's worried, like she's one. Well, I don't understand what's going on. Why not? What part do you understand, or what part's frustrating you? Or just go through a litany of questioning, and you just find out what part of it is. Odds are, I've seen it as simple as, I don't have a pencil. Why are you sitting here, Timmy? I don't have a pencil. Well, man, if I got you a pencil, you good to go? Yeah. Okay. And Timmy's not in trouble anymore. Like, he's not just sitting there doing nothing. It's because I ask a question, right? Same thing with, you think about, I've been a coach, and if I get a kid having negative experience at the plate every time, we're going to have to go back, as a hitter, we're going to go back. We're going to find a way to rebuild that confidence through positive experiences. I'm not going to sit there, like, I'm not going to throw heat at this kid for the next 5 minutes, make him swing and miss 100 times, and then go, "You'll get better at it next time, Jim." Yeah, it's not happening. We're gonna set a ball on a tee. Hey, let's find a way to hit. We start making contact, a little bit of soft toss. See that kid? Oh man, that's a nice shot right there. Just keep moving forward. Keep your momentum. Move those hips, whatever it might be. And all of a sudden, they start thinking about the possibility. Holy crap! If I hit like that in a game, Dad's gonna be happy, right? So let's think about that positive reinforcement piece. Think about that 31% more productive in a positive frame of mind. Think about that broadening and build. You know, whatever it is, you know, I'm just telling you, I enjoy talking and telling stories with you, with others. Um, you know, um, it's time for a change. Kick out the negative in your life. Fill that void with positive reinforcements, positive messages. Scott, how do I do this? I'm glad you asked. Start small. Stop watching fail videos. Be intentional in what you're seeking out on your Facebook account. I'm saying it, guys. Stop posting and reading about the ice cream machine at McDonald's being broken. It's going to be broken. And it's okay. There are other options if you need ice cream that badly. Start small. Stop watching the fail videos. Replace them with some win videos. There's plenty of win videos. People being successful, people succeeding. Instead of watching road rage TikToks, people getting in street fights over something stupid. Fill your feed with people overcoming great odds to succeed. One of the people that always comes to my mind when I think about this is a guy named Bill Porter. He was a door-to-door salesman. I was introduced to Bill Porter back in the mid-90s. Bill Porter was a door-to-door salesman. He had cerebral palsy. He refused to go on disability. And he convinced I think it was the Watkins Company. He was out in like Seattle or Portland, Oregon area. I know Seattle and Portland, Oregon are two very different places. I get it. But to me, it's the Northwest is all just one big area. I really want to go there. If anybody wants to sponsor a trip out there, I highly encourage that. But he was given a 7 square mile route, and for many years, 40 years, he worked for the Watkins Company, going door to door, selling their products. Top seller for many years of that 4-decade career. So how about picking up that hobby you gave up, that you enjoyed, the one that gave you joy so many years ago? I enjoy talking and storytelling with others. This podcast is bringing me joy. It may be boring you all to death. I hope not, but you know what? If it is, find another one. But I am having a blast, man. I'm really enjoying it. Make the change. It's worth it. You're worth it. Those who love you will cheer you on. They want you to be happy. Think of the good you can do in a positive frame of mind. Well, at least 31% more, right? Yep. You got some proof. So get behind it. Make that one small change. Change what you're listening to. Find inspiration. If it's not me, find someone else. Eric Thomas is awesome. He was huge for me, still is. He makes sense for me. Am motivated by him. He introduced me to others. I needed someone in my ear. I needed someone who wasn't close to me, that was just telling it as it is, that didn't have that connection, that didn't know all my, little flaws, didn't know that, I'll cheat today because we're going to get ice cream. But you too can find that person or that thing that motivates you. But be aware. Be aware. Great things are about to happen for you. Hey, thanks for listening today. Let me know what you think. Real Mr. Schick at Gmail, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, thanks for listening in. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day, people.